It's a DACCCAST. It's a DACCCAST. It's a DACCCAST. DACCCAST. Cause I said it's a DACCCAST. It's a DACCCAST. It's a DACCCAST. 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 DACCCAST.
You're listening to DACCCAST, produced by students of Danville Area Community College. And now your hosts, Kia and Keegan.
Yo, 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 it's Kia and Keegan here from the basement of the clock tower.
Here on DACCCAST, we get to know the familiar faces we see all over campus in hopes that students at DAC and members of the community get to know each other a little better.
With that being said, we are here with a member of the Admissions and Records Office, Mary Jo Gentrup. Very nice to meet you.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I have to tell you, I'm very flattered that you asked me to be here. I'm following some very important people.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. So this is really cool.
Yeah, you definitely made one of the shorter lists for me. I wanted you to come on here.
No, seriously, I'm shocked. But I'm flattered, so thank you for having me. And I've watched all the DACCCASTs, and they're wonderful.
Oh,
They're really, you guys
so
are doing a
much.
great job,
Thank
and
you.
it's really neat. I hope you can work your way right through DAC.
Yeah, of course. That's our
That's
plan.
the plan.
Yeah.
We're
I think
hoping
you
to.
should.
Yeah.
Okay, so introduce yourself and tell us what your role here at DAC is exactly.
Okay. My name is Mary Jo, and I've worked here for 16 years. 13 have been in the records office. 3 years prior to that, I actually worked in the registration office and decided to become a stay-at-home mother with my two youngest children. So I quit and then came back later. And so 16 total is what I've worked. And right now I've been in records for 13 years, and I enjoy it. It's a good job
Yeah.
here on campus, and I really enjoy it.
Yeah. So what does a normal day look like for you?
We are in charge of mostly transcripts, which means grades, incoming, outgoing. We actually receive transcripts in from other colleges for students, high school transcripts. We are in charge of recording attendance information and grades from the instructors. And I work on commencement and graduation. So that's the biggest part of my job.
Yeah.
There's two of us in the office. There's another record specialist. Her name is Susan, and she does the grades and the attendance part. I assist. We're cross-trained on everything, but her main job is the faculty and the grades and recording attendance, and then I do more of the graduation side.
Gotcha.
I see. Yeah. You've had to deal with me a few times in your email,
Yeah,
nagging you for a transcript or two.
that's okay.
That's one big reason why I wanted you to be on here today, is because I think basically most people have come in contact with you, whether that be, in person or virtually or anything like that. Everything DAC runs because you guys in that office do your
We're
job.
kind of the start and the end for sure.
Exactly, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, and I feel like everybody at this stage in their life, being in college, has to deal with a transcript at one point or time.
Sure.
Yeah, and
Sure.
so
And a lot of it is dual enrollment now. There's a lot of students that take college before they're actually a college student full time.
yeah.
And so and a lot of times students don't understand, are those part of my transcript? Yes, when you take a dual enrollment class, that you're creating a college transcript at that point.
Yeah.
So a lot of times they kind of find out later that, I
Yeah.
should have done a little better in that class, or, oh, wow, I don't remember that, happening. But yes,
Yeah.
yes, they do.
Gotcha. So take us into your background. You got your associates from DAC, correct?
Yes.
So what was that time here like? What were some of your favorite professors, if you remember some classes?
I was a first generation college student. So college was kind of new to me, but I really liked it here. I didn't see myself as a 4-year college kind of person, especially right out of high school. I was kind of shy. So coming here was a little bit easier for me to deal with. And so I was a student here full-time for 2 years and got my associate. And I came right out of high school, and I was also a student worker here. And I worked for the Marketing College Relations Office, and I worked with Chris Cornell, who is still here. And then at the time, it was Terry White, who is the marketing director.
Okay.
But I love being a student worker. I mean, it helped you learn campus, worked around your schedule. It was the first time I had really worked in an office setting, too. It was in the marketing, so I answered telephone and did filing, and I did some running around town for them, delivering things. And it kind of got me associated with an office setting, and I knew I really liked it. And that was my major. I graduated with medical office procedures to work maybe in a medical office is kind of what I thought I would do, but I never actually did that.
So
I've worked here most of my career.
You said you were pretty shy, right?
Yes.
So how have you had to transition from doing that to being one of the frontline people that people come in contact to in the college?
Well, it's really just about years of dealing with people. And it wasn't easy at first, to be honest. And when I worked in registration, someone would sit right next to me and get registered. And, you'd have to have a conversation with them. And, it was kind of, I was young myself. That was my first job. And so, it was kind of a learning curve then. But it's funny you asked that. I sold Tupperware for 3 years.
Oh, really?
And that will get you out and about.
Yeah,
It sounds kind of silly, and some people are like, what's Tupperware? But it's this stuff. It's plastic kitchenware that has been around forever. And so when I first did that, I was very nervous, and I would have to get up and talk in front of rooms full of people. And I remember the first party I ever did, I was so nervous I couldn't even breathe. I had to remind myself, when you talk, you have to breathe. But that kind of got me a little bit more acclimated with talking to people. And so when I came back the second time working in records, it was a lot easier.
Gotcha.
But that was probably the biggest social connection that I ever had with people was doing that. So that has helped a lot. Plus, the older you get, the more mature you get.
I do have to ask. Okay, so I was driving in Champaign, and I saw on the back of somebody's car, like they have like the 31 bags or the Sensi. It was a Tupperware one, and it looked pretty old. I'm not gonna lie. When was this Tupperware craze? When they used to sell these things like those?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, this was a long time ago when it started, 50s and 60s.
Are you serious?
Is when this first started. Yeah. And people would have home parties, and it lasted a long time. I mean, I didn't sell it until the 90s.
Wow.
And so it was still going on. And I don't know how things have progressed since I left. I haven't sold it for many years, but it's a thing. And people get together, and I wouldn't say just women, men do it too. We had a Tupperware salesman.
Really?
Yes, and his name was Woody, and he did not look like your average Tupperware person. He had kind of longer hair. He looked like he just came out of the 60s, and I enjoyed him.
Yeah.
But I couldn't imagine what his parties were like. But, anyway, it was fun, and I love the product. That's kind of why I decided to sell it. My kids were little, and I was a stay-at-home mom, and I wanted to do something on the side.
Yeah.
But it was very good for me to be more social.
Interesting.
So
Yeah.
you didn't go door to door?
Oh, no.
Okay.
And the worst thing I ever had to do was make cold calls, which you had to call, hey, would you like to have a Tupperware party? And so at the parties and stuff, I would try to get other people to have parties. But I'm that kind of person that I'm not real pushy, and I'm not like, in your face kind of. So I'd be like, if you want to have a party, just let me know. I was always like, just let me know. I didn't want to push it on anybody.
Yeah.
And I got plenty of parties on my own. So it was fun. I have to say it was fun.
Interesting.
And I have a lot of Tupperware in my house.
Yeah, when I hear Tupperware salesman, I picture the scene from Napoleon Dynamite. I don't know if you've ever seen that.
I have seen that.
When he tries to show how indestructible they are, and he backs a car over it.
Yeah.
So that's what I picture. But
Yeah.
that's
It's
very
pretty
interesting.
tough stuff.
Yeah.
It's lasted a long time. I still have a lot of it left.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I didn't realize it was that long
People
ago.
would bring their old bowls and show how old they were. And I don't still have the lid, but I have the bowl. And, and the colors were crazy. They were brown and yellow and
The
green,
turquoise
olive
probably.
green.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. They've been every color in the world.
Yeah. So you worked here for 3 years and then took time off when your kids were born. Mm-hmm. And you worked at Catlin High School, correct?
I did work at Catlin High School about 3 years, and that's when my alma mater. Went to school there.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I graduated from there. I became the secretary whom I loved for years. Her name's Doris, and I became Doris, the secretary, and got to know a lot of the kids. Mine were little at the time. My daughter was not even in school. She was in preschool, and then my son was in kindergarten when I started. So,
Gotcha.
yeah.
Gotcha. So what's the I know you probably had a different role at Catlin than you do here, but what's the difference between working at a college and a high school in kind of a similar position?
Well, age groups, of course. You're working with 14 to 18-year-olds in high school, and mothers and fathers and,
Very true, yeah.
still attached and, things like that. And
Yeah.
I was one of the truancy people, so I would have to call if someone didn't show
okay.
up. And
Yeah.
so I would
Fun job.
I would sometimes ask the mother, "Where's Joe at today?" "Oh, I thought he was at school. Hang on." She'd put the phone down. "Oh, he's still in bed. I'll tell him to get up and come," stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I would say maturity level, people coming here typically are by themselves. They're students now and adults. And in high school, still have the parents hanging around a lot. And I'm from Catlin, so I knew a lot of the people. So that was different. Here, it's bigger town. I don't know everybody who comes in the door. So it was more personal when I was at Catlin
Yeah.
on a personal level, and then the younger kids. And then here it's just, it's adults. And sometimes we have people coming back to school that haven't been in school for a long time. They're older.
Yeah.
Their kids are grown. They want to do something different. So
Yeah.
we have a lot of different age groups here.
Yeah.
So that's the main difference, I would say,
Yeah. Gotcha.
from
My-
Catlin.
3 of my brothers graduated from Catlin, and their graduating classes are 20 students?
Yeah.
19, 20
Yeah.
students
Well,
per class.
we've consolidated.
Yeah.
Now, your brother's Tad.
Yes.
Tad was there when I worked there.
Oh, really?
So I know your brother. I don't know
Okay.
your younger brothers because they were not there yet.
Yeah.
But I know Tad. So I didn't know if you knew that I knew who you were.
Well, yeah, to an extent.
Yeah.
Because your daughter was a year older than me, I
Right.
believe. Yeah.
Yes.
And so I did know.
Yeah.
That's where I
cool.
got some of my intel from.
Oh, okay.
Inside
So-
source.
Yeah. So you were going to say something about your brothers.
Not necessarily,
Oh.
just how, at Catlin High School, you deal with, 60 students, 20 per... I can't do
Yeah.
the math right now.
Yeah,
That's
there
crazy.
was, when I worked there, it was just Catlin. They've
Yeah.
since consolidated to Salt Fork, and so it has made it a little bigger, but Jamaica's school was not very big to begin. It was like your high school, little.
My high
We're
school.
talking 1,000 people in the
Oh,
towns,
that's my tiny little town.
but your school was bigger.
Yeah, my
Oh,
graduating
okay.
class had about
Well,
260 kids in it.
Yeah, probably the average class when your brother was there was probably about 40,
Yeah.
35, and now it's maybe 50,
Yeah.
60 with Jamaica.
So how does that compare to working at DACC and overseeing an insane amount of students?
Yeah.
Well, you just have to be a little more organized. And my role is when they actually go to graduate. Admissions does more of every student coming in the door and all of that. Mine's more at the end when they're ready to graduate. And that doesn't include everyone.
Yeah.
Students may just come here a year and transfer out. Maybe not have a desire to get an associate degree. We try to keep them around long enough for that, but
Yeah.
sometimes they leave before they get a degree. So I would say, the percentage of students that actually graduate is in 20, 30%.
Really?
And that's not saying that they just drop out. It's just they're here for a class or two, or they've transferred on before they get a degree or whatever. So by the time I get my group that I'm working with, we're talking 300-400 probably, which is not, a ton.
That's
But
really interesting. I've
I
always
just
been curious
keep
about the
organization and spreadsheets and, all that fun stuff. So
Yeah.
the hardest part actually is getting the word out that you have to apply to graduate.
I should
Do you
probably
want to?
still
Yeah.
that.
Do you want to plug that? Because we're in that position now.
Okay,
So,
Yeah.
no, you tell me first before I say anything. How would you receive your degree at this point? How far are you? Are you a semester out? You're just a semester out, aren't you?
Yeah, this is our
okay,
last
so
semester.
have you applied to graduate?
no,
Okay,
because
so
I didn't know I needed to.
see, that's part of the issue.
Yeah.
So basically, there's just a form, and
Okay.
it's going to give me your name, how you want it on your diploma. It's going to give me your major and your current address, phone number, or how I reach you. And then we run a check of all the classes that you've had and make sure you're going to earn your degree. Because believe it or not, sometimes people lose track of the classes they've had or they've withdrawn.
Yeah.
And they get this far and they think, I'm good to go. Oh, they're missing humanities, or they're missing that math class they forgot they
Yeah.
withdrew. So it's not automatic, and you really need to have it checked.
So where do you
So.
find this form?
It can be found online on the website under records.
Okay.
I also have paper copies in the office, so if you'd like to come see me, you can come over and
Go
just
see
kind
Mary
of see the
Jo.
office. But well, even pre-COVID, we try to get everything online, all our
Yeah.
forms. It's just easier for students, because they don't always know where to go. They don't know where my office is sometimes. And
Yeah.
sometimes their advisors tell them, and that's great, and they fill it out while they're there. But yes, everyone needs to apply to graduate if you're getting close.
You learn something new every
And
day.
if you can do it prior to your last semester is better. Because
Okay.
that way going into your last semester, if you're missing anything, we
Oh.
can, we can get it in there before it's like, oh, you got to take a summer class or, whatever. And that happens.
So that's basically, if they don't apply to graduate, but they have all of their credits and everything, and they meet all the requirements, what happens then?
They leave with 60 credit hours.
Not an associate's degree?
Nope. And in fact, I'll have creditors in different places call to verify. And I'll have to say, well, they've earned enough credits to suggest they have a degree, but there's nothing conferred. So basically, they just left without getting a degree. They may have thought it was automatic or whatever, but they never really contacted us to say, hey, I never got my degree.
Is this
Happens all the time.
I was going to say, is this a big issue? How that happens every year?
It does, yeah. Now, we can run reports that show students that are close and maybe kind of catch them, but we'd like it to be,
Yeah.
I'm getting a degree, I
Yeah.
need to do something about
Yeah.
it kind of thing. So
Yeah.
believe it or not, that's an issue.
Wow.
So we've had some people leave without degrees that really should have gotten them.
So what's the next step? When they can't get it, do they have to wait until like the end of the next semester and take more credit hours?
Well, no. Once you earn it, you earn it. So let's say you had 60 and you left. If you catch that or we catch that, then we just basically at that point graduate you.
Wow.
It may not say whenever you went here, May of 2021, it will say whatever semester we're currently in because we get credit for that.
Yeah.
The college gets credit for all of our degrees and certificates
Okay.
that we issue. So if we issued you one 2 years ago, we didn't get credit for that.
Gotcha.
So you'll still get your degree. It'll just say current,
Okay.
which is no different. You still get your degree.
Yeah.
So we would like to get that word out there. If you're ready to graduate, you need to come see me.
Yeah. I feel like that's the difference between high school and college. You don't have morning announcements.
Very, very
That's
true.
true.
Very true.
I mean, that is true.
Because that's a big thing that I had to pay attention to in high school about
Yeah.
graduation. So.
We used to advertise around campus. Kind of got away from that for a while because we didn't feel like people were, really noticing a whole lot. But
Yeah.
the way this year's been, it's just been crazy, and I think we need to kind of, I don't know, somehow get the word out a little more. And advisors do a good job
Yeah.
letting students know and everything. Sometimes they forget. They'll say in your first year, hey, don't forget, when you get close enough to your degree, you really need to go apply. Well, could slip your mind or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
So-
I remember seeing it advertised in like November or something, and I thought it was applying to graduate for December. So I even asked my mom, I was like, is this for me? She was like, I don't think so. And I was like, okay. So,
Yeah, you feel like it's kind of early, but really it's never too early.
yeah.
One semester might be a little early, but
Yeah.
2, 3, 4 semesters later, yeah, get in here. We'll check you.
Yeah.
Make sure. Because you
Definitely.
do forget sometimes
Yeah.
there's a class missing.
I heard you're a really big Bears fan.
Yeah.
Sorry about
I
that.
love football.
Love football.
I know. Aren't you sorry for me? Yeah, thanks. Thanks. Yeah. it's
Yeah, the
been a
quarterback
rough
you should
couple
have
of
drafted
years.
is playing in the Super
Hey
Bowl.
now, I love Patrick Mahomes. He's my Mahomie. Love him. No, Bears are great. Bears are great.
Have you always been a Bears fan?
Mostly, yeah. Years ago, when I first discovered football, it was back in the late 80s, when there was a player, I don't know if you've heard of him, but his name's Joe Montana, played.
Never
And
heard of Joe Montana.
he just did it for me with football. I just loved watching him play. And so I became a Joe Montana fan. And then I gradually just moved into football in general. And now I've been a Bears fan probably since the 80s. Right after they won the Super Bowl.
Yeah, right after they were like one of the best teams of all time.
Yeah, no, I've always loved football. That's really my sport.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Did any of your kids play sports? Did your son play football or
Yes,
anything?
my oldest son Andrew played high school football.
Okay.
And he played soccer up until he got in high school, and then you had to make a choice. You had to either play football or soccer because it was at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't let you do both. So
Unless
he
you were a
chose
kicker.
football. He was a kicker, actually.
Was he really?
Yeah.
And they didn't let him play both?
No.
Oh, wow.
No. So he chose football, and he was kicker. He did. He played offense and defense too, a little bit. But I love watching him play.
Yeah.
I love football. I
Did you
just
like
love the
watching
game.
soccer?
Yeah. I didn't know a whole lot. My husband and I both, when our kids started playing, Andrew was our first, and we just didn't know a lot about it. But we learned with him, and he became a good soccer player. I think he could have definitely played high school and beyond if he'd have stuck with it. But, just chose the football route, and that's really all it was for him.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And so you also opened up a small business, is that correct?
That's correct. Yes,
Yeah.
6 months ago.
You want to tell us a little bit about that?
Sure. My husband kind of always had an idea that he'd like to own a business of some sort. Didn't really know what. And then we watched some buildings in Danville, just different ones that were going up for sale, and noticed the old Brantland Pharmacy, which is where we are. And he thought that would be a cute place for ice cream shop.
Yeah.
And it just kind of came to us. I mean, we've always been big on ice cream. We travel a lot, and then we always find ice cream place. We love ice cream.
Yeah.
So we thought that would be a good place to have it, would be downtown, and that's what we decided to do is ice cream.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And you
It's been
said you
fun.
opened it 6 months ago?
Yeah, back in August, right at the end of summer. We had bought the building and did a lot of the work ourselves, and it took us a while because we both work full-time jobs. And so we got to a point when we were ready, and of course COVID was full blown at that point, and we're like, should we wait? And my husband's like, nope, we're just ready, let's go ahead and do it. And we did kind of a soft opening, and it kind of gave us something to focus on and look forward to.
Yeah.
So that's kind of why we decided to go ahead and do it and open when we did. And we didn't know a whole lot about owning a business. We just kind of went in there with what we knew and been nice to people, and they've been great to us, and it's
Yeah.
been really fun. It's been really fun.
So what are your operating hours and stuff like that?
We kind of are we decided to stay open through the winter, which is different for ice cream shops in this area. And so we thought, well, let's just try it and see. And so right now we're on winter hours, and we do pretty much 3 to 7 during the week, and then Saturday and Sunday we do 2 to 8. And that's just pretty much enough for winter.
Yeah.
Once spring rolls around and summer, we'll be open more. There'll be more people out and about, but that just being past when it got dark and stuff at night just wasn't, past 7 o'clock, it just kind of died.
Yeah, definitely.
So we're just there for a couple hours now.
And there's a significance behind the name, right?
It is. It's named Laney's Ice Cream, and it's after our daughter, Laney.
Yeah.
Yeah. We kind of, as a family, tried to decide what we wanted to call it. My husband kind of had that idea. He likes the personal names of places. And so he liked Laney's. And so it never occurred to me to name it after one of our children. And so I said, Andrew, Evan, are you guys okay with that?
I was just about to say that. How does
Are my
Andrew and
boys,
Evan
I'm
feel
like,
about
and
that?
they're like, we don't care. We really don't care. We just want to eat the ice cream. So they were fine with it.
Yeah. You can
And our
name it
daughter
whatever
was
you want.
flattered. So
Aw.
yeah.
Yeah.
And she does work there from time to time.
Oh, yeah.
So if you come in there and she's working, you get to see the Laney
The Laney.
working at Laney's.
Wow.
Yeah, I told you I drove by it last night, and it looked really cool with the lights that you had going on.
Yeah.
And then I was driving down North Vermilion, like at the very end, and there's just so much potential for that downtown area.
Yeah.
It really
And I
is.
just feel like if there could be more restaurants open or stuff like that it could just develop a lot more. Is that something that
Definitely.
you see in the future?
Oh, we would love to see that.
That would be so nice.
Yeah, we get people in there asking all the time, do you guys have food? Are you going to have food? When are you going to serve food? We just don't really have the room and
Yeah.
the time right now to do food. But, a restaurant would do wonderful down there. And definitely restaurants are like the thing. Something starts getting built up and you notice construction. You're like, ooh, is that a restaurant? And then you find out it's a car wash. And then you're like, "God, what? We don't need another car wash. So, food is its a whole nother, realm. But that's kind of why we just decided to do ice cream because, if we didn't have full-time jobs, maybe, but that would be a lot.
Yeah.
And when I watched Dr. Berthel and her DACCCAST, she was talking about her restaurant and stuff. And it's a lot of work.
It
It
is.
is. I mean, ice cream is just enough work for us now. I adding food would be a lot, but I would love to see more businesses going downtown.
Yeah. And I was just going to say, if you're going to open a restaurant in downtown Danville, don't listen to the one with Jamie Berthel because she was...
after that, I was like, I'm never owning a restaurant.
Yeah, it's a lot of work.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
And I used to work. There was a restaurant where her Heron is now. It used to be called Regina's Kitchen. It was a deli years ago, and I worked there. That was one of my first jobs ever. I was
really?
16. It was in the summers, and it was great, but it's a lot of work.
Yeah.
So we heard that you were a big fan of the band Queen.
Oh yeah.
What's your
Yeah.
favorite song from Queen and why?
Well, it's another one bites the dust. But there's a story behind it.
Okay.
So 1980, when the song came out, I was 7 years old. And so what was big back in the 80s? Roller skating. Have you guys ever seen a roller skating rink? Okay. So I recall from my childhood going roller skating at the Illini Skate Land. There was even one down in Georgetown, too. I don't remember the name. But whenever you would go roller skating, they'd play the big songs.
Yeah.
And there was this song that came on that I'll never forget. And it was another one by this. And it touched me then, and I didn't know why exactly. But now that I love the band and know about them and know all their music, I understand that was just like destiny for me to love Queen. And so that's my favorite song.
So that didn't like describe your skills at roller skating?
No,
As in, like, you fell down all the time?
No, I was
bit the
decent.
dust.
I'm coordinated. I can skate. But no, I thought that would be a good song to play at my funeral.
Okay.
Oh, that's
I told my
interesting.
kids, hey, remember that? So when I'm gone, play that as people are leaving. Wouldn't that be fun?
No.
Yeah.
Seriously,
Now
'cause then they
it's
could
on
think
here
of
for
me.
good now, so no, it has to be played at your funeral.
So no, I think that would be fine.
Yeah.
It would be a kind of an uplifting thing because it reminds you of me. Oh, she loved that song. And then, the words.
Maybe like an acoustic version.
Whatever.
Not the radio
Whatever.
version.
But it'll be a long time for that. So who knows if Queen will still be remembered. But I got to see them in concert
Oh, really?
a couple years ago. That was my highlight. Yeah.
How was that?
Of course, minus Freddie Mercury. He's passed on. But it was awesome. My kids went with me, Andrew and Lainey. And it was great. I had the best time ever. I was in, Queen heaven. And I had decent seats. I mean, it was still kind of far out, but I could see the band, and it was just awesome. I don't know. Do you guys have a band that you feel connected to in any way?
I know she does.
Yeah.
Who's your band?
AJR?
I never heard of them. What kind of music is that?
I don't even know.
Alternative pop.
Pop.
Nah.
Pop.
It's just like more modern songs you'd hear on the radio, like on Kiss 107 or something like that.
I'll have to check it out.
What? That's pretty accurate.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
maybe
But
not.
no, I don't know. Their music is just wonderful. I just love it. I love all music. I rock and roll is the best music that's ever been.
Yeah.
70s and 80s specifically. But I love going to live concerts and I just love music. It's just one of my favorite things.
You're from Catlin. You have to at least like country a little bit, right?
No.
Wow.
No, now there is an exception to that. Dwight Yoakam.
Dwight
Never
Yoakam.
For some reason, I love that man and I love his music. And I got to see him in concert a few years ago, and it was a highlight. I was like as nervous as I could possibly be. And then he came out on stage and you're like a groupie kind of thing. But he has got one of the twangiest, countryest voices ever. And I don't like any other country music. But
Really?
I love Dwight Yoakam.
Interesting.
But that's it. I don't listen to any
That's
country.
it. No.
Wow.
Rock and
The Eagles? You like the Eagles? Oh, no.
I'm sorry.
It was going so well
I'm
until
sorry.
now.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I
kidding.
respect your Eagles.
So you've been here 16 total years, and you went to school here. So how have you seen this college change over time? Because I feel like as of like late as like the last 1 or 2 years, it's changed a lot. So
Online, everything from applying to registering to taking classes, that was not a thing
Yeah.
back in the day. And so, you have to change and you have to adapt with the world and, working mothers and people with full-time jobs and, night classes were a thing, but it just online has really changed. That would be the biggest thing that I've noticed. And some people would say that's a good thing and others would say it's not. And it's one of those changes that has to happen in order to get to the people that need it.
yeah.
And some people find online classes fine and learn just, fine with it. Both of our kids are in college right now. Our son's at the U of I and daughter's down at Indiana State. And they have had both online and in class, and they prefer in class, but they've done well with online. So it kind of just depends on the student. Some people are just not cut out for online classes. But, there is a place for them, and we have to continue to change and adapt in order for our students to complete, because you just can't have a full-time traditional semester sometimes.
Yeah.
If you're young right out of school, yes, but for others, they have to be able to adapt.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Gotcha.
I really like hearing that. We heard that with you and one we just did with Kelly Johnson too. And it's really refreshing to hear somebody speak on like students are first and we will accommodate to you and we want to see you strive and be better and,
Right.
Finish a degree or get to where you're going.
Because if we don't, we won't have students here.
Yeah.
And some people have that little bit of pullback of not wanting to do the online classes. And to a degree, I think it is better to have them in person, but you have to change and the world is changing. And look at all the people that have worked from home the last year. Some people probably won't go back to the office. They've found more efficient ways to do things. They don't have a commute, maybe they even increase their profit margins and stuff. I think some have said that it's more efficient to be at home. So things are changing, and so you kind of have to roll with that.
Definitely.
DACC keeps up with things. We do things traditionally. There's nothing wrong with that. And then we do some things that are new and changing. You just kind of have to see what's out there.
Yeah, I agree.
And see what our students want and everything. And from the most part that I hear is students want to be in class.
Yeah.
If they have to be online, that's fine, but they'd rather be in class.
Yeah.
Yeah. I do miss being in a class.
So
Yeah.
do I.
Yeah, there's something, like Dr. Bethel said, you miss out a little bit
Yeah.
by not being in person. So, and you don't want to lose that totally. I think it's okay to combine, but, still have that personal connection with your instructor and your friends.
Yeah.
We don't want to lose that.
Yeah, it's definitely, I think it's better for like educational purposes and actually learning to be in person. But there are definitely ways that it's more efficient and like timekeeping and stuff to be online. But
Right.
And so kind of with that, do you have any personal goals for your career or in your field or what you see yourself doing?
I would love to be either retired or working full-time in the ice cream business
Yeah.
in the next few years. I love being here, and I love the people I work with, and I have to do a shout-out to my office because they're the best office on campus. I don't care what anybody else says. We have the best. Margie, Timothy, Carrie, myself, Susan, and Stefan. And sorry, what was the question? I've lost
do you
track.
have any goals for your career?
Well, I mean, not really goals other than I'm just always improving.
Yeah.
Commencement's changed over the years since I've had it. And so, we are always looking for ways to improve, ways to look different, ways to get people to apply to graduate. So I don't know that I have goals as far as, too far in the future, but I'm always improving, always trying to think of ways to do things better. And of course, the person I'm working with will, maybe be here longer than me. And so just telling her everything I know and
Yeah.
getting
Passing
her
along
prepared for that if
passing
I'm
along
not
the
there
knowledge.
just to do everything at that point. So,
Yeah.
but I would like to be either close to retirement or working full ice cream
Yeah.
someday because I have other things I like to do besides work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not another 16 years.
No,
No.
Hard
Love
no.
DAC, but no.
no, I don't think so. No.
And then I just had one more question before we wrapped up today.
Okay.
What advice would you give to somebody who's opening a small business?
Make it something that you enjoy doing
Okay.
or enjoy being around. And try and think of all the things that could go wrong or things that you want to try and try them out ahead of time if you can before you actually open. And the workers we've hired have been wonderful. So, hire good people that are around you that you can trust.
Yeah.
And I don't know, 6 months is not a long time. I'm still learning myself.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you had to learn any of these things the hard way?
Well, to be honest, my husband is the main one. I mean,
Yeah.
I work there and I'm doing things, but he's the brainchild behind everything. And
Yeah.
he's got the head for business, and he knew that's what he wanted to do, and he's done a great job. And I'm just kind of following and assisting.
Yeah.
I'm doing a few things, and I've come up with some of my own ideas and different things, but You know, he's the main one, and luckily we get along. So, you know,
That's always a plus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's going good so far.
We are now going to shift into our rapid question segment called DACC Attack.
1, 2, 3, 4. Deck attack, 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 deck attack.
I mean, that's it?
Dogs or cats?
You had to start with that one, didn't you?
It should be easy.
I can't.
You got to pick a favorite.
No, I can't. I have one of each.
Yeah,
Kaya.
I know. I could tell.
My dog's birthday's on Friday.
Oh.
Cats.
I hope your dog doesn't listen to
I
this.
know.
Oh my goodness.
Mornings or evenings?
Evenings.
Bohemian Rhapsody or Radio Gaga?
Bohemian Rhapsody.
Yeah, I agree.
Sweet or savory?
Sweet.
TV or books?
TV.
This one might be the most important. Chocolate or vanilla?
Chocolate.
Ooh, I don't know if I agree with you on that one. Summer or winter?
Summer.
Beach or mountains?
Beach.
Eat in or dine out?
Eat in.
And this one I came up with, and I'm most excited to ask. Mitchell Trubisky or Jay Cutler?
Mitchell Trubisky.
Really?
Yes, because I liked, then I hated, then I liked, then I hated Jay Cutler. So, Mitchell all the way.
Is it just because you've always hated Mitchell and you haven't had to decide?
No, Mitchell's great. Mitchell's great. It's not his fault. It's it's the coaching, okay? I'm just going to say it's the coaching. It's not Mitchell. He'll be here next year. I said it. He's coming back next season.
Okay.
I said it.
Alrighty.
All right.
All right, so ready?
Yeah.
Okay, well, thank you so much. We had a lot of fun, and I'm so glad that I could get you onto this show because I was so
You
excited.
have really flattered me, both of you, and I appreciate it, the time, and I had a lot of fun, and I was nervous, but I hope you can't tell, and you know, it's just me, and I followed a lot of great people, so you guys did a great job to make me sound tad bit interesting, so I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Keep up the great work.
Thank you.
Thank
The
you so
DACCASTs
much.
have been wonderful. I swear, I hope you get through the whole college.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
We'll try.
great. It
We'll try
really
our
is
best.
interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm so grateful to hear that. You
Yeah.
know, we have at least a few listeners.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for listening. This has been the DACCAST with Kia and Keegan.
Stay classy, Jaguars.